Hi, it's BellaDeVeraOfficial.wordpress.com, and I wanted to finish up my video on about feeling rejected. So what I was saying is that when you put up that wall of save me or I'll save you or I'm a victim or you're a victim, relating to each other, it's like a defense mechanism for one thing, and it's because you are hurt and want someone to take away, your problems, so it's which isn't realistic. No one can do that except you. But whenever your true confident self can interact with people, you know, there's no interaction there about, you know, giving people permission to be around each other. But with the hurt self, like I've established in my first videos about with the title that I don't even like, I don't want to say because I don't like labels, but it's there anyway to get your attention. Your true self and your hurt self, people get mixed up and confuse the labels, and act like it needs to be a label. But what I was saying is that when you're your hurt self and you're interacting with people, you need to get out of that mentality and be in the true self mentality, so you can not feel like you need permission to be around people or like they need permission to be around you, because no one needs permission unless you establish some like confident, your true self establishes some, you know legitimate like way of relating to someone, not your hurt self, not your save me or I'll save you mentality, but your true self, whenever that establishes, whether or not you have people in your life, that's one thing. But whenever your hurt self, feels like you need to give people permission to do this or that or be around you, or whether or not you need, or whenever your hurt self feels like you need permission to be around people, about rejection, you need to get out of that mentality and think that you don't need permission. If there's no established thing between your true selves about whether or not you're going to be around each other, you're allowed to be around people. And when they see your flaws and your fears and your insecurities, you know, and you feel like they're going to reject you because of that, I get that because I've been there and I still do that in my head. Like, it's not like a full blown big anxiety attack, but they're little ones. That's a part of the anxiety attacks. And I get it because I've been that way my whole life. And especially growing up when I was younger, when I had full blown anxiety attacks, that's a part of it. And I still have that mentality, even though it's not like a huge anxiety attack now, but I'm still dealing with that. And so I completely understand it. But you need to get out of that mentality that you need permission to be around people, or you need to give permission to people to be around certain people or yourself, because no one needs that. That's uh, not realistic. You need to stop thinking that you need to give people permission, whether to be around you or not, or that you don't need to give them permission to be around you, because you don't need to give someone permission to be around you unless your true selves have established that you're not going to be around each other, which, like I said, I'm not even going to explain that because my Mercury and Capricorn hates explaining logic. That's logical. That doesn't need an explanation. The hurt self playing games, that's not legitimate. Not for your true self relating to people. I do not accept that. If I want to be around you and our true selves haven't established that we're not allowed, I will be around you if I want to be, especially for your job or something. You know, if you don't establish something, your true self doesn't establish something with my true self, we're allowed to be around each other. The game playing, the hurt feelings, the rejection thing, the walls because of your hurt self doing that, that's not legitimate. I don't accept it. You don't need to give someone permission to be around you. You just don't. There's no reason for it. It's not legitimate. Your hurt feelings are, and the root of it is. But the game playing in the walls, and I mean game playing by walls and protecting yourself, that's not legitimate. I don't accept it. And no one needs to. You don't need to give someone permission to be around you or not, unless your true self is doing it somehow. But my moon sign is so psychic, and it's about the deep stuff that's way inside of you that is buried, even the eighth house and the Pluto issues about the victim savior thing. That's what I don't accept. My true self can't accept someone else's true self doing that with me, establishing something. But the hurt self doing that, it's not a game I'm going to play with anyone. I do not accept it. It's not legitimate. No one needs to. There's no excuse for it. And it's just not legitimate to do that. You do not need to give someone permission to breathe around you or to be around you or to talk to you or to appreciate you or to support you or your work, whatever it is. If I'm a client or a fan or a customer or a guest or a whatever, that kind of thing, on the other side of where you're the one with the job and I'm the whatever, or if you are that of me and I'm the one with the job, or in our personal lives, the hurt self doesn't need to have that power of giving someone permission to be around them. It's not legitimate. That's not true power. True power is love. And when your true self is relating to people, your hurt self, that's not power. You don't have power over anyone with your hurt self. You just don't. So you automatically have permission to talk to me. Your true self does. You don't need permission to talk to me or anyone. Your true self, you need to do that, and you need to let your fears and your anxieties or your insecurities, your flaws be a part of your life, because that that's your hurt self and it's legitimate to have that, but it's not your true self though. Your insecurities, I'm calling your hurt self to establish this for my foundation. You know, your true self is your confident self that can be around people. And you need to go ahead and be around people, because I know people are going to reject people sometimes, and because of fears and feeling rejected, so you do it to people, but that's all it is. And or it's also aspects in synastry also where it's difficult aspects and we think we don't like each other or can't get along. That is a part of life, but that isn't your hurt self. Your hurt self is not because of that happening. That is something you can handle. That is something you can deal with. Your hurt self, I know, things that rejection because of showing your insecurities and your flaws and whatever is scary, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your true selves relating to each other and having a difficult aspect in the synastry. That is something you can handle and you can deal with and you can be confident about. That's not a problem to deal with. The insecurities and the flaws and the rejected feelings is what I'm talking about. That's your hurt self. That's what you need to let your insecurities and your imperfections be a part of your life without feeling rejected, because if we'd all do that, we all wouldn't reject each other. And that's why I'm saying everyone's allowed in my foundation, because my moon in Pisces, especially, and Venus and Mars in Pisces, anywhere Pisces is, it can see straight through you no matter what lie you tell to me about anything, unless we have some big blown out of the water Neptune situation going on with 10 aspects or something where I really am just, can't say who you are, which I really don't think you could hardly do that to a moon in Pisces. The whole law of attraction and chakras situation and learning how to relate to people. If you think someone's trustworthy, that they're being their true self and not their hurt self around you, you know, that's not all gullible. But if you're not aware of such things and you need to, learn it, through law of attraction, I'm not talking about that either. That's a whole different kind of subject that isn't necessarily about Neptune. It just really isn't. That's a whole different subject. I'm talking about just Neptune synastry. If I literally can't see who you are because of Neptune's synastry, that's different. But that's not what I mean about, like, in general, Pisces can see straight through someone to the deepest part of them and can see flaws they have and feel chakras and everything. So you can't lie to a moon in Pisces unless there's other subjects that I've just mentioned going on about the law of attraction stuff or the Neptune or something, which can happen, or seventh house issues. Not the good things about the seventh house in Senshi, but the issues it can have that I've talked about in my other video. So I don't give a crap that you have flaws and insecurities. I have them too, and that's okay to have them. Especially being around me, I'm not going to reject you because of that. If I don't want to be around someone, my true self is going to do it because of difficult aspects or something, which is normal, which is something that you can handle. That's not connected to whether or not I have a foundation or whether or not my foundation is what it is, which I've established. I'm not taking back what I've established because I'm talking about what other things I do in my life. My true self doesn't need to have everyone on this planet in my life for me to have my foundation be the way it is that I've established and why I've established it. That's not me taking back my word. So my true self can make the decision not to be around certain people because of whatever. I do not do that because you have insecurities and flaws. I don't mind or care that you have them because I have them, because everyone on this planet has them. That's normal. That's not a reason. That's not a good reason for anyone to do that about anyone, which is what my foundation is for. Getting that point across to people. Whenever people do that, because of the other things I've explained in my other videos, because they think people are changing into different people when they're really not. That's not legitimate. That's a law and it's not acceptable. That's rejection, and I don't do that. I'm not doing that to people. So you're allowed in my foundation and in my personal life if we can have a two-way something or another thing going on, not a one-sided thing. If it's one-sided, you're allowed in my foundation. Always. If it's two-sided, you're allowed in my personal life. Even if it's not up, as much of a balanced out chakra situation as it should be. If you're putting in any effort at all, you're allowed in my foundation. If your true self is. If you can communicate with me with your true self, you're allowed to be around me, and you're allowed anyway because I don't need walls to protect me. But if your hurt self is the only one that will ever communicate with me, I'm not going to play that game with you and communicate with your hurt self. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to explain this. So I'm not rejecting you, your true self. I can't play games with your hurt self. I'm not going to play a game with anyone. So people need to get this mentality into their brains, their lives, in their relationships. I think it's the right one, and it's not something I made up. I didn't make up any of this. It's what I see in people and what seems to work in relating to people. It's what when I see people's true selves letting their insecurities and their flaws be around people and they don't reject each other, that's a relationship working, even if it has its difficulties, And that's what my foundation is for. So, what I was saying about your hurt self being around someone, you don't need permission to be your true self around me or, that thing I'm calling your true self. You need to go ahead and do that and let me see your flaws anyway, because I know you have them and I have them too, and that's okay. And everything's not about your flaws or your insecurities or mine. I can be confident around you no matter what you're doing or saying and be my true self around you. I don't need to play some hurt self game with anyone. I can be my true self and my confident self and be around everyone. And the whole thing of you get what you give can be in my true self relationships. That's not rejection. It's not to say I'm going to leave you because I'm doing that or because you're doing that and I can accept that. That's not your hurt self. That's just a part of life. I'm not going to reject you or leave you because I give what I get. And I'm not saying to do that in a bully way. I'm saying to do that in a, tough love kind of way. Like, you don't play games with people. You establish who you are by being your true self, and you show people your confidence, and that you can give what you get, or don't be bullied and not confident. You kind of have to give what you get or whatever. Kind of, I'm sure you can understand what I mean without going into detail and contradicting myself, because I'm trying not to here. I don't mean be a bully. I mean be confident and stick up for yourself, or treat people like you're equal. That's what I'm trying to say. We're all equal is what we need to be about. Not someone's law of attraction or chakras or something else is, better or worse than someone else's, even if it's higher or lower. We're all equal and we all need to relate to each other that way. And you need to go ahead and talk to someone if you want to without the mentality of being rejected, because your true self can handle the difficult aspects in this industry and whatever. Your hurt self is the thing you need to deal with. Your hurt self isn't quite the same as your insecurities and your flaws and imperfections. That's kind of a different subject also, because no matter what in life, you're going to always have insecurities and imperfections, which is normal, which is okay. But your hurt self, how to deal with such things, is what I'm talking about. You don't need to communicate with someone with your hurt self. You need to go ahead and be your true self and give yourself permission to be around people. No one needs to give you permission to be yourself or to be your true self and communicate with people and interact with people. So I hope this clears up some of, what happens with relating to people. And I hope it gives you an understanding of what my foundation is about. If there's any questions about this, or comments, feel free and let me know. So anyway, I'll be making more videos for my foundation, as I think of something or can, or if someone brings up subjects to make videos about. So anyway, thanks for watching.